one moment. Hello. Okay, sorry about that. As soon as I started the live stream, my youngest started crying. So I wanted to make sure that they were okay and that we weren't gonna have to like go up and resettle him, all of that good stuff. But so far, they've resettled themselves. Obviously, I will have to change that up if we need to. So, first things first, tonight we are working on big bags for Creekside Yarn Festival in Airdrie, which is January 20th, 2024. And then the other thing is that the Boxing Week sale is on through December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and you can find all those deals at ateliernekozuki.com. If you are watching and you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I will be chatting along here. I guess I don't really have much to talk about, but I feel like you're here for this whole like stream of consciousness, whatever this is, most of the time. So, that is a lot of umming, and I am sorry for that, but not really. So right now what we're working on is big bags, and they need their canvas bottom. So this is going to be the new style of big bag, which means that instead of full Japanese fabric, they get a canvas bottom now. This was something that I decided I was going to start doing over the summer when I got a special order to basically be like, hey, you should do, I need a black bottom on this bag. I can't remember how much I actually like. Oh, it has been a week. I know it's partly because we're out of schedule with school being out and stuff like that, and day home and all of that, but my goodness. Actually, maybe I should blame it on the full moon. I don't know. But the kids have been standing on each other's last nerve. They've been standing on my last nerve. I just realized I need to start winding my bobbin. And it's just, it has been intense, y'all. And of course Christmas was busy, and I'm not complaining, it was really good. Different, I don't know. And then it's like, we're also getting ready to go down to Disney World next week. My husband and I are running the Dopey challenge, which is a 5, a 10, a half, and a full marathon. And we were sick over Christmas, so that was excellent for training. I am in the camp of rest, 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 rest. My youngest had a stomach bug of all things that they gave to me and my husband, so that was fantastic. We got off easy with some like nausea. It's good, but the little guy, yeah, our youngest was throwing up everywhere. That was not good. So I was just realizing I need some lotion for my hands because they are already losing the battle with winter. Anyway, so we're working with Japanese fabrics. What I'm working on right now is getting the canvas bottoms installed on the new style of big bags. I just remembered that sewing the canvas on the bottom was easier than putting the interfacing up, because the interfacing slips better. And the canvas gives the feed dogs, which are the little teeth underneath the fabric, they grip to the canvas better actually. I don't know. I don't make up these rules, I just follow them some days. Not often. If you've followed me for a while, you know that I don't follow them very often. Oh, what is it? Do as I say, not as I do. Also, somehow, mysteriously, my little thread snips have like completely disappeared from my sewing studio. I do suspect that my youngest has stolen them and secreted them away somewhere, but who knows? Santa's workshop did get the sewing for them done, so that was good. Super happy with how it came out as well. But yeah, it was an intense week, and with basically they rotated between being sick. So my eldest was sick on Wednesday, so they didn't go to school, which of course they also don't like being out of routine, so they were super upset that they had to stay home. And my youngest was throwing up on Friday, and so my husband and I just didn't have any time to ourselves last week at all. And of course, because I was trying to get Christmas presents done, I also didn't sit down and do any actual work sewing, so that didn't put me in a good mood either, really. It's all just kind of coming to a head, and of course, I'm also anxious about actually running Dopey, the Dopey challenge, because it's like, it's huge. I've never run a marathon before, and it's just kind of weighing on me, I guess would be the best description. But I just saw the pacers posted, and I've decided what I'm going to do. They do a method called jeffing, which to me is just interval running. I don't know exactly why it's called jeffing. I guess maybe because the walk interval never goes below like 30 seconds. But one of the paces for 6 hours is 30 and 30, and I have never done that small of a run walk interval. I usually do about 2 and 1s or so. I think over the summer I was doing 2:15 and 45s actually, which was really good. But those are good for like shorter runs, not for longer runs. So I'm thinking I might post up with the 6 hour 30 and 30 pacers and just follow them, because then I don't have to set it for my watch. That should give me about a 6 hour marathon, hopefully. And the nice thing is that the cutoff for Disney is like 7 hours. So even if I can't keep up to that pace, that still gives me like an extra hour. And I just fall back with a different pace group. It's really not that big a deal. So, for the marathon, all I want to do is finish, because the marathon is at the end of a very long weekend. And we'll just, I don't know, we're gonna do our best. I love this fabric with the geisha. Might go, I guess. Spectacular. So yeah, so it's just, I don't know, there's like, realistically there's not much to talk about. Dallas gave me a really nice backpack for Christmas that I asked for by Nordace. I'm going to be using that for the first time for this trip, which will be awesome. We're also traveling with carry-on suitcases, which is not something we normally do, but we are not going to risk losing our shoes and like all of our outfits, because basically we fly down and then we run the next morning. Barely the next morning for us. It's basically like we'll probably get down and maybe get an hour or two of sleep, just with kids jet lag and all of that. That's gonna be fun. So alright, so these big bags are not an exact science yet. I realized that I did cut a few of them different from what I originally planned. So we're just gonna go along, and if we need to make any adjustments, we will do them post canvas bottom sewing. I have not cut any of the lining for them yet because of the new setup with the canvas bottom. Pretty sure it's gonna be well, given that I've added length on and all of that, it should be a very similar cut. But honestly, I just wanted to move on from cutting earlier to actually sewing. Because I find the sewing a little bit more meditative right now. It's also harder to do with the kids around than well, that's a lie. Everything is harder to do with the kids around, but the sewing, when they're bored, they come and hang out around the sewing machine, and that can get worrying. So I have a few more things to pick up tomorrow for the trip. One of the things is that, of course, the runs start extremely early, so we're going to be up around 2 a.m. Eastern time every morning, and and you get into the corrals and you wait there until our start times won't probably be until about 5. And so one of the suggestions is that you have obviously layers and all of that, because it's still 2 to 5 a.m. starting outside. When you're exhausted, you want to keep your muscles a little bit warmer. But if you have layers that you can discard, Disney will actually come along and pick them up, and then they'll donate all the discards to, I believe, homeless shelters actually, or wherever there's a need for them, I guess would be the best description. So I gotta go get us some, oh jeez, I just realized that I haven't been paying attention to make sure that these are going the same direction, because one side is a little bit shinier than the other. I just realized I haven't been actually paying attention to that. Damn it. Okay, I think we're good so far. Yeah, we're good so far. I gotta start paying attention to that. These hedges are also super good. Anyway, so I'm gonna go get us some sweatshirts for that. To do that, because it's not supposed to be super cold actually, which is nice. It's supposed to still stay in the double digits, so it's not gonna be freezing or anything like that, thankfully. We still obviously will take alternate clothing down, all of that. But it's also not supposed to be that warmest week either, which is nice. But it might be raining, so it's I think it's actually going to be a nice balance, because it's not supposed to get above where we were actually training this summer. The hottest part of the day isn't supposed to get over 19 or 20, I think, on the marathon day. And we were definitely training in 20-degree heat here over the summer, so we've got some experience with that. And yeah, I don't know, we'll see. In some ways, I'm just ready to be done. I'm very excited for my training regimen to reduce significantly. So I'm gonna start going back to my local spin and yoga studio more regularly. I have a plan, so I can just do it when my kids are in childcare, so as long as they're not sick, I can go basically. Yeah. But yeah, they have been feral. And I know that's partly also because we haven't been outside a lot, but it's I am tired. This has been a long run up to Christmas this year for some reason. And all these runs and everything like that have not been, yeah. I did drop the last simulation run because I was honestly, I'm just gonna hate it. I am not gonna gain anything from it. And someone was saying it's as long as you've done the 20, my last long run was 23 miles, and if you've done 23 miles, what are you really going to gain from the 3 miles? Basically, it would have been another practice to see if I mental challenges and fueling issues, but I think I've worked the majority of those out. The big one for me was figuring out that I can't just run with chews and gels. I need food. I get so hungry. So I was figuring stuff out like that, and then think my new pair of shoes is broken in enough. That is one drawback to not having done that run. But, oh well. It just means that probably what I'll do is I'll run the 5, like, I'll run the shorter runs in the new shoes, and then I'll run the longer runs in the old shoes, which is fine. I don't think they're broken down enough for me to worry about quite yet, but they will be done after that. But I also don't need to be giving myself like massive blisters in my new shoes. So yeah, I'm down to 2 more runs before this, and we'll see where it goes from there. And then when I get home, it'll be thank you so much for your support on the Boxing Day sale. It will be basically I will be head down finishing sewing for Airdrie, and then I'll be head down sewing pick your own orders from the Boxing Week sale. As I mentioned right at the very beginning, that's running until December 31st. That's when it's supposed to be edgy. Anyway, it's running until December 31st, 2023. 25% off everything in store until then. But it's automatically applied in your cart, and it includes everything in the shop, including the pick your own orders, which I did not include in the Black Friday sale. But I figured, why not include them now? I've also put all the new fabrics into, well, all the new fabrics that have any kind of like yardage that isn't going to be instantly taken up if someone orders a bunch of bags. Yeah. I think some of the pick your own orders actually overlap with stuff I've already got cut. I'll just make sure that if that is the case, I keep the fabric aside and I won't make it for Airdrie. And I did check in with Caroline, and she said I had to go ahead to like basically she doesn't want exclusivity on stock fabrics, which is awesome of her, because she could have totally been like, no, I want it, give it to me for the shop, which I would have done. But no, she said make that money basically. And most of these are like super popular fabrics, so it's not like both of us having it, it's going to make a big deal. Would be a big deal, so it's not like I'm producing thousands of the same bag. Or that everyone's going to be able to get down to Airdrie either, so there's that as well. It is cranky, what the hell? Alrighty, trim you up. Ruined my streak. Okay, I don't know why there's excess in there, because the bobbin was empty. But okay, we'll go with it, I guess. Also, this has been such a weird December for weather. So Dallas and I decided, in part because of the races, but also like we'll start going down south more in wintertime, because it's like we are both getting tired of winter. Fair. I don't like winter. I don't like going outside. But it has been so nice that we've been able to go outside. It's kind of like, well, this is a waste of a sun vacation in some ways. It'll still be nice that like we won't have to put as many layers on anyway. We got snow just before Christmas, and it's nearly all gone. Now, this does happen in the Calgary area. We get Chinooks, but this is exceptional. Might be adding to my stress just a little bit. So, yay. Fabric is also spectacular. So she's in this one she's got a blue teal dress and pink mushrooms, and then there's also one of her in like a darker blue dress with red mushrooms. That is spectacular. I'm excited for both of these so much. Flip. So all of these have been the uppers have been interfaced so that they match the same kind of weight as the canvas. It gives the bag more body, and then there'll be an interior to these as well. There'll be zip bags. They get webbing handles. So the next step after this is going to be top stitching the actual canvas, much like I do with the Kato bags. And then we'll go in and cut the lining and the webbing. And then we will also do the zippers, I guess, at the same time, pretty much. Probably use a lot of the zipper by the yard just because it's a little bit easier. And then we will do the assembling. But I am nearly out of stock for everything for Airdrie, so it's just kind of like, what can I get done in about 10 days? And I don't know what I'm gonna get done, but we're gonna do our best. Obviously a lot of big bags. And then I think what I'll do is I will also bring fabrics for Pick Your Own at Airdrie as well, since if I don't have a lot on hand, that's always nice. It was nice to do that in Knit City anyway, because rather than having to reach out to folks afterwards being like, yeah, I've got this fabric and we can make this, they could just pick the fabric while they're seeing the bags in person and all of that. It actually was really nice. It was only 4 orders, but that was 4 more orders than I would have gotten if I hadn't had the fabric with me. So, no, the fabric is not for sale. But you can definitely pick your own bag there, I think. I obviously can't bring the whole fabric stash. I basically brought all the stuff I had left from November into Vancouver, but I can't do that again. At least not for the amount that I've got left in the stash right now. This one's super cute too. This is little tuxedo cats in florals. I have worked with this fabric before, but we're down to like the last few pieces of it. So I figured this was a good use of it. I'm gonna sew it on the bottom here, and then we'll figure out the interfacing up top. So this is the start of the fusible interfacing, which actually does work out better for this style bag anyway. And then, so it's fused on, and then it gets sewn in as well, which is super nice. And it just adds that extra body to the fabric. This one has a little bit of a loose corner, but that, like I just said, it'll be sewn in everywhere, so I'm not that worried about it. Yeah. I'll finesse that when we actually go in to do the zipper, because basically I'll do the canvas on this side of it tonight. So now the big debate is, what do I do for like webbing and zipper colors for a lot of these. So actually the next big debate is, what do I do tomorrow, because I am like absurdly low on small box bags. Caroline took a bunch for her shop the last week, and I think I'm down to like 4. Not that I'm doing much better for big bags, and I don't have any on hand in this new style, so that's why I'm focusing a little bit on them. Actually, I think that'll be the next thing, will be the small box bags, and then we'll focus on getting as many Kato bags done as we can, because those have been super popular. And although my large box bags are low stock right now, they are not critical like those other 2. These 3, I guess. So. And you may ask yourself, hey Katie, why are you making so many big bags if you're so time crunched? And that's because I cannot control myself. Besides, if I don't make it, who's gonna know what I have? That's the other thing. Pretty sure these guys were supposed to go with the gray. Nope, this is too warm a gray. Although the Shiba Inu underneath it are supposed to go with the gray, so I'll just pop those pieces there. These guys are black. I'm really tempted to just go to black canvas, because if I start using enough of it, then I could just order in like the big bolts. So right now the minimum order is 10 meters, but if you go up to 50 meters, then you get a discount off of it, an even further discount, because obviously I'm purchasing at wholesale rates anyway, and so it's really tempting to just work with black canvas, because then there's also no debate. It's like they all get black canvas. But that's kind of boring. So I haven't made that decision yet. Maybe one day. Probably not. I still also have quite a bit of charcoal canvas left, so it's not something that I need to rush to decide right now either. I do know, I had mentioned that I was going to be doing some navy and brown in the new year, but I could not justify quite yet buying those bolts. So, well, in part because I actually had to order more pocket fabric. When I don't need to order pocket fabric, I will probably be purchasing navy and brown canvas. That's too close to that edge, it's going to tear. Okay, just going to redo this one. That one's fine. Okay, so this one just needs to be scooted over like that far. Nothing terrible, just an extra 1/8 of an inch. It's fine on top, but underneath it needs the extra. There you go. Alright. So, and then, if you're wondering what I'm checking, there's like a little bit shinier side, and then there's a less shiny side on this canvas. Oh. What do I want facing upright? The sheeps. Okay, so if I sew it that way, that's what'll face upright. If I sew it this way, that's what's going to face upright. I think I do one of each. Yeah, so we'll stick with this one for this side, and then I'll sew it with the pink bike and the blue truck up next. Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so as long as they match, I don't care, but it's also, I gotta just pay a little bit of attention to the shiny side of the canvas to make sure that it's the same side that I'm sewing on every piece. It's probably something that no one else will notice, but I notice it, and I had a bunch of kato last year that when I was working with it, I was like, damn it, I had to pick it out and redo them all, and so I'm just trying to avoid that, because they wouldn't match on one side, so. Let's see, so I got the kiddos clothing done from Santa's workshop. Fits decent. My eldest's, I did some modifications on the side. It definitely fits them better than the wearable muslin I made them, which is awesome. The youngest, it not so much, but whatever, they're gonna love it, so that's what matters more than anything. And yeah, what else? And then I did work on the youngest's stocking, but I'm only about halfway through the main chart, but I am a lot closer to finishing those stockings this year than I was last year. I finished my own stocking, so I was like, well, I always leave myself to last. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, my youngest isn't going to know the difference this year. They're too young. As long as I have it finished for next year. But I'll remember. So I finished mine this year. And then I had one finished for Dallas from years past, so I just used that one as the youngest's for this year. So that worked out. And then for my eldest, I actually went back to the original one that I knit them. That I came in hot about keeping, but it's super cute because it's a little rocking horse, and so that's going to save me having to knit another one, and it still fits the color scheme even if it's not exactly the same, and that's fine. It's like, because it's the same designer and it's the same colors, it's pretty cohesive. So alright, so this is actually one of the fabrics from November, but it was like fat quarters that I bought of it. Friggin' adorable. I love these big open mouths on these guys. And this one actually has blue eyes that really pop in person as well. Yeah, so the next thing I really want to tackle, because I've had the fabric for years now, like I moved it sort of years, and I have a serger for the stretchy fabric, is I want to make my husband a hoodie. So Dallas looks really good in raglan hoodies, but they are the bane of our existence to find. That don't have like a bunch of labeling on them, or like doesn't want to be a walking billboard. I don't blame him. And so it's really hard to find them, and they fit his shoulders the best because he's fairly broad, and it just makes him. I like them. It makes them look good. Oh, and it's not that we can't find raglan hoodies. It's zip raglan hoodies that have been hard that we like. So anyway, that's the next project I want to tackle. I figure kids' clothes are a good way to at least practice making like a little bit and getting some like understanding of some garment making techniques. Because obviously my main is bags, and bags don't need to fit anyone, they just need to fit yarn, which is very low judgment. No judgment. Yarn is a no judgment zone. So, well, we know that one adhered well. This one's really nice too because these like florals are actually that gold shimmer, which you can kind of see there. Oh yeah, there we go. That does actually come through, at least on my side. And so those are gold. The Myco themselves are all kind of like outlined and picked out in gold highlight as well. It's just a really nice fabric. And then the background are like traditional parasols, which you can't see me pointing out there. By the way, if you have gone in to try and place an order on the website, there has been some tech issues with the shipping. I don't know what's up. I've gone in and tried to fix it, but it is trying to charge abhorrent rates. So for a couple folks, it was trying to charge $30 for 2 items within Canada, which is not correct. If it should be between $10 and $15, or like untracked letter mail if it's available for your item is around $5. If you place an order and you end up paying like that much in shipping, so like $30, I will be refunding the difference. I do charge $15 as a standard just because I don't know which carrier is going to be able to take it. And if it's through Canada Post, it's more expensive. If it's UPS, it's less expensive. Basically, then I just end up refunding the difference even there. Because $5 is $5, it's quite a bit. But $30, I was like, what is going on? And I went in and I checked the shipping profiles and I did some fiddling, and I still can't tell what's going on. So hopefully it's remedied. Hopefully it was just a glitch yesterday, but my goodness, I probably do need to sit down and actually chat with Shopify and be like, hey, like, come on. The annoying thing is that I used to have carrier calculated rates, which were glorious, because basically it would be exactly what I would pay for shipping. And then it would just be a straight quote from the Canada Post website. No big deal. But then I wanted to be able to offer like untracked letter mail, because hey, if that's how you want to ship your items, awesome. Canada Post, like the lowest level that you can do on Shopify is tracked parcel. And but I decided I was gonna add letter mail, and now because I've added my own like custom costs, it doesn't amalgamate with carrier calculated shipping, and I'm just like, it's so painful. I have also added, if you're in the Calgary or Cochrane area, I've added the pickup option as well recently. And basically what that is you can pick up. I'm more than down for doing pickups in like the area, but I did not want to post my address online more than it already is potentially. And I definitely didn't want to have it set up for local pickup and that easily available. But I do offer it. Basically, you just select pickup from Katie, and then we can arrange a pickup of the item at a later date. I realized that I did actually have a arrangement today. Alright. Hey, we're almost done putting these bottoms on. That's pretty awesome. So, when Caroline and I were there in May, one of the big fabrics that we were seeing everywhere was all these crochet patterns, which is super awesome. So we definitely picked those up. I've got a few other like kind of crafty corner fabrics to get into rotation as well. But I figured the crochet granny flowers and some crochet triangles were going to be a good way to kick off the craft corner. So I do also have like Erin's sweater, like cable print and stuff like that. That's really fun. So listening to the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, and I have to admit I'm kind of lost. I don't quite know what's happening. I'm not enjoying it, but I'm like kind of lost about what's going on right now. So and for a lot of my audiobooks, I do use a streaming service. I use what was once called Scribd or Scribed, however you want to pronounce it, and now it's Everand. It is a monthly or yearly subscription fee, and I fully support getting all of your audiobooks through your library if you can. But I listen to so many audiobooks, like it's just not sustainable to be consistently waiting for stuff or like having stuff out of order constantly. So I usually use some sort of amalgamation. So like this time I wasn't really in a rush to listen to the 5th season. Obviously it's been out for a while, and so I waited for it through the library. I had other stuff to listen to in the meantime as well. So yeah, I usually use some sort of amalgamation. I find that Everand does end up with some more of the indie authors, which is kind of awesome. Or indie produced like audiobooks sometimes somehow. So that's good. Alright, I can't remember if the beige Sakura was supposed to be going with charcoal or black. I think charcoal's gonna look the best. Black. Black might be too stark. Grab it. Nope, just looks classy. Alright. This is tilting me more and more in the direction of just having black canvas. Also, it would still be like, as much as the charcoal is dark, it would still show dirt even less than the charcoal, so that's a lie. Sometimes black does show up dirt more easily, but I don't know. The only place that's really a concern is actually the Kato. And the Luxe tote bags. The Luxe tote bags are also going to be going towards a canvas bottom as well, for durability, although they haven't been super popular, so I think they might be something that I keep in my back pocket as custom orders. I don't know. I don't know if they need to come out in like new fabrics or what, but I'll figure that out over the summer. I still really like them, but they feel more like they almost need to be a custom order item. Anyway, yeah, like with the Kato, because of the leather, you can't wash them. So these, even with the canvas, because they're the tote bags with the like not polypropylene webbing for the handles, just throw them in the wash, whatever. most of my bags are machine washable. The only thing I do suggest, if outside of the ones with leather, obviously, the only thing I suggest is you can machine wash but air dry your bag, because that's going to help maintain the interfacing. And obviously, like, cool, gentle wash. One thing I do find with the fusible interfacing that I don't like is that it does tend to unmold from the, like, unadhere from the bag when it's in hot. Because I've had to wash bags because the cats have gotten to them. And so that's a hot water wash. Alright, so I think this one might be even better with these cats. They just show up so well in these backgrounds, and they really pop with these pink mouths too. So thank you to all the new subscribers and all my old subscribers and all my subscribers in general. Really do appreciate y'all. The channel has grown by leaps and bounds this year, which has been amazing, and I'm hoping that I can continue to grow it in 2024. For the beginnings of these bags, I did actually film the cutting of the fabrics and everything like that, so that'll be something that'll go more into a long format video, and then probably the sewing like this will go, I'll mash up some of these pieces into that video as well, do some voiceover work for it. It'll be fun. I think I've mentioned this on the channel before, but one of my goals this year is that I do want to invest in a little bit more camera equipment, so that I can start filming also for vertical video a bit more. Shorts seems to still be where it's at for me a lot. The lives are working extremely well. I'm really enjoying them, but I would love to be able to do a little bit more long format as well. Just kind of like, but that requires another camera. So, because right now I am maxed out on camera equipment because the phone is doing the desk view, and then my laptop is the like face view that you see. So, you know, it'll happen. There's two pieces of equipment that I want. One is the camera, and then the other is that I would really love to get a leather strap cutter next year, like a machine, not a hand strap cutter. And the ridiculous part of that statement is that they're both basically the same price. So we'll see which one we get first. I do need to know I need to start producing more leather straps, like the crossbody straps though, so I think it might be that one first. I don't know. Alright. Gray is less shiny, but that's definitely the shinier side. Hey! 3 more to do. And then we'll go in and do the top stitching. Sweet. This has gone incredibly smooth. Oh, we're gonna go the other way. This direction. I think we'll probably get through the top stitching tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be cutting the linings for these. Mostly because I do need to keep some semblance of a decent sleep schedule for the next like week with the runs. I don't need to get sicker than I am. And I'm not sick actually. I have recovered, which is good. So peeved if I was sick right now. But yeah, I'm just at this point just ready to be done. I do have a few days in the park afterwards, which I'm very excited for as well, though at least okay, good. So these are like nostalgic signs and like nostalgic kind of retro foam boxes and stuff like that. And they're just like really nice, gentle color palettes. They're a new fabric. And then this is some of the last of the Capybara Professor fabric. You've been around for a while, you will probably have seen this. The gold and like purple version of it has been sold out for a while, but the blue and or like turquoise and navy is still, obviously we still got a couple pieces of it left. This is one where I will have two of them, but I think one of them will probably be going to Caroline after Airdrie. But even if I get into a real time crunch, I'll make sure that this one and the Capybara Hot Springs comes with me to Airdrie as well. Yeah, you can still, so probably about, was it 10 days ago now was my last stream or so. Actually, yeah, it said 10 days ago, but I feel like 2 weeks ago is when I lost my voice, and I can still feel it myself, and like I'm really raspy. It sounds like I've like, I don't know, smoked a pack of cigarettes like every day of my life or something like that. I have never smoked. I have walked by the smoke pit, especially when I was in university, and I was like, oh, I get why you smoke, but it's too expensive. I can't justify it. I'm like, I would much prefer to spend that money on books or good coffee, which yes, I know that's an addiction too. But like books, coffee, yarn, fabric, there's a lot of other things I'd prefer to spend it on than that, and damaging my lung health. Anyway, my voice is still raspy. Long story short, my voice is still raspy and I can still hear it and feel it. It's weird. So we just finished up in sewing the canvas bottoms to the big bags. Basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just pulling all of them up. We're going to clip the pairs off because it's a 2-piece bag right now, 2 pieces of exterior fabric. And then we're going to go in and top stitch the canvas down basically so that the seam is held in place and it just makes it look nice. It gives it a nice finish. It's what we do on the it's what I do on the Kato bags as well, the drawstring bags. So I just realized after Airdrie I'll do pick your own orders, and I'll do the final like prototyping that I was thinking of this year. So Can Do Crafts, which is the person who published the Kato bag, put out a rice bag as well, which is what I mean by that is it's based on a rice bag, but it's a pattern for it that, looking at it, I can understand. So someone else I bought a pattern from someone else, and I just could not get my head wrapped around it. I don't know what it was. Well, I know what it was. It's probably post-baby brain fog, but I just couldn't make it work for my brain. So whatever. This other woman put out, or this other pattern designer put out this pattern. I know that they produce good work because I work with the Kato bag pattern, obviously. And it's basically a round bottom drawstring bag, which looks super cool. So that's something that I'll be prototyping to make sure I can, like, it's something worth putting into production. And there's a few criteria for that. So one of them is it can't take too much fabric, basically. Obviously we're working with very limited fabric, considering that I go over, buy it, come back, and then make all my bags, right? So it can't take too much. It has to be within a certain amount, or it has to be really worth it to take a lot of fabric. And then the other thing is that the amount of time I have to put into it has to be worth it, basically. It can't be too much. Basically, what is the production time of it? I recently did that with a bag where I was like, yes, this is such a cute bag, blah, blah, blah. But then when I went to production sew it, like, I'm not doing it again. So it's going to be a limited release. It's the only time I will release that one, and that's it. And sometimes you don't know this until you actually go to put it into production, right? So like the downfall of that bag, I was so excited about it, was darts. I needed to do, there was something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 8 darts in this bag. And it's so time consuming. Like it's not a production bag. So that's fine. Live and learn sort of thing. And it'll be super cute for what it's intended for, and just never again. But anyway, so that's one of the criteria, is that like it has to be producible within a certain amount of time. Obviously there's other ones that break that rule. So wallets are one of them. They fall into a different category than bags, although they do take a crap ton of time compared to what I'm used to with bags. Okay, so this is where I'm paying to the shiny, paying attention to where the shiny is. Okay, they match. I can't remember when I started paying attention to that. Should I press this over? 100%. Am I going to? No, I'm going to just work with it from the bottom here. Anyway, yeah, so that's one of the things I do when I'm prototyping, is I'm judging how long it's taking me, how much fabric it's taking. Is it clear? Does it have a use in my shop? Is it like unique enough? Now the rice bag pattern is something that I've been eyeing for a few years, so I'm pretty sure it's something that I want to put into my shop. I think it's super cute. The Kato has been extremely popular, so having something that is like similar, like a cousin to it, will be nice. This bag will also have interior pockets, all of that jazz. So like, I think it's got a lot of really good things going for it, and so I'm excited to try it at least. What was the other thing I was thinking of prototyping? I've discussed this before, and I can't even remember. I have those cell phone bags that I want to bring into production, and those will go into production. They need practice. I did put interfacing on all of them the other day, and I think that's going to help a lot because it won't stretch out the fabric when I'm sewing it. I think that's where a lot of my issues are coming from. At least it'll stretch out less, basically, is what's going to happen, hopefully. Excuse me. Need some water. I'm just actually looking at this. Like I'm looking at it, but I'm looking at it in the abstract of like, I gotta get this under the machine properly so I can top stitch it well. But now I'm just looking at the actual how this is gonna come together as a bag, and it is looking so good. When I was in Tokyo in May, this was behind the counter. I'd seen it on the shelf, and I picked up other colorways, but I hadn't seen this like black and red combo. And then it was sitting behind the cutting desk when I went back for my second round of fabric. And so I was telling the guy, I'm like, I want that red flower fabric with the cats. And he didn't see the cats until it was actually on the counter. He's like, oh, these cats. I'm like, yes. But it looks so good. This one is just funny. So it's actually crepe cats. Or cats in crepes. Crepes are still, I was gonna say they're a fairly large, like, dessert trend in Japan. They're not as trendy as they were when I was there as a student, which is sad. I love crepes. At least like Japanese sweet crepes. Used to be like a tiny little shop on the main like tourist street in Gion as you're going up towards Yasaka Jinja. And it had amazing crepes. Like Harajuku crepe shops don't even hold a candle to this place. And I was so sad to see that it had closed by the time we got back there. But yeah, I swear the shop was like, I think barely wider than my sewing desk actually. My sewing desk is about 42 inches. And I swear this place was maybe 4 to 5 feet across. Okay, so this is where pressing it would come in handy, is that it would actually be pressed to the right side. So maybe we will take these to the ironing board. It is sitting right here. I just need to actually grab the iron. because where the like seam allowance is a little bit smaller, it's just not turning down properly. And I do not know why I sound stuffed up. I don't know how I'm stuffed up. I am not sick right now. Or at least I don't think I am. Who knows at this point. Like I said, the kids were just swapping bug of the week, basically, back and forth last week. Sounds like allergies. I don't think it's allergies, but who knows. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the iron and we'll just kind of shuffle everything behind the sewing desk here and we'll iron this out. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna put it onto BRB and mute the mic just while I'm shuffling everything around, and I will just be right back. 1 moment. Okay, so maybe not perfect, but you're gonna be able to like see me. I'm not gonna be able to see you. So if you're throwing any like comments in the chat, I can't actually I could just turn the laptop. What am I talking about? I'm not gonna be able to see the chat. Oh, I just realized the mic's probably shitty. 1 second. Alright, there we go. That should be better. This way I can at least see the chat if I need to, but I figure like the phone is a pretty good face cam right now. Turn the mic towards me, and sorry, that was probably extremely crackly, because it does like to crackle when I obviously mess around with the cable, which makes sense to be honest. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we gotta go through and we've gotta press this seam line down. Turn the steam on. And we're gonna press this seam line down towards the canvas, because what that does is it's going to just set everything in place. It did make my fusible web interfacing crinkly. What the heck? It's already fused. Why are you making it crinkly? No. Okay. Don't drag it like that, Katie. Okay, let's do a little bit more TLC here. Apparently it's unhappy with me. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then you're supposed to put them in a cool spot and lay them flat. I will lay them as flat as I can, but it's not going to be perfect. Okay. So now it would actually be easier to fold it up towards the body of the bag, but here's the thing is that folding, it makes it look crisper folding it with the canvas, with it towards the canvas. I don't know, it changes the look. It like highlights the canvas a little bit more, and it just, to my eye, it looks better. Yeah. Frames it differently, I guess, is what the big thing is. Oh my goodness. this is still going to be a struggle, but at least I won't have to be struggling with this at the actual sewing machine. We'll just struggle with this on my ironing board. Ugh. Okay, fine. Maybe what I need is this. This isn't gonna save me from like the interfacing crinkling, but it is gonna, well, it might a bit actually, I don't know. It does mean I'm not gonna scorch my fabric at least. More what I'm concerned about. Okay, again, not perfect, but a lot better. There we go. Yeah, I really don't like how that presses. What the heck? Maybe I need to get a different interfacing. Problem is that the interfacing I have right now, that's the alternative, is like way too stiff. And the canvas is not playing nicely with this. I wonder if I got a poly blend canvas without knowing it or something. That would be annoying. Okay. I think in this case too, Tailor clapper would actually work too, because basically you could set the seam down like that and then put the clapper on it and it would flatten it nice. But for now, good enough. Don't have a clapper. I'm gonna work with what we have right now. Alright. Seems like on at least some of these, pressing from the side is okay. Corner, which is also like I refuse. That's why it's sometimes just absolutely like, I know all the instructions always tell you to like press in between your steps, but sometimes it doesn't work. Again, don't follow my advice. But in my own experience, it's like, it just, I don't know. If I can make it work without having to press it in between and it still like looks fine, I think it's actually better. At least for me. I don't know. I don't know what would happen if we actually opened up the seam. I don't think that's gonna work very well, but let's see. Let's see what happens when I open the seam. Or, because then I don't have, then I'm not putting my iron on like as much on this like interfacing, because the interfacing is polyester. That's just how it works with interfacing. A lot. There is some canvas stuff, but it's hard to find and it's expensive unless, well, it's canvas basically. And sometimes that just doesn't work. Okay, let's see what happens when I actually just press the seam open. Nope. Looks dull. Okay. Pressing the seam open, I may as well press the seam up. It actually look better, yeah, towards the bag instead of towards the canvas. So, good to know. There we go. Framing complete. That totally messed it up just there. There you go. Okay. Some days. This is always a learning curve. And then there's something new that I'll learn and it's like, oh, okay, we'll apply that. This like whole using canvas on the bottom was something I really resisted for the longest time because like it is extra work. But the extra work has such a good visual payoff now that it's just like, okay, fine, we'll do it. The other part of it, and if you've watched me before, I've talked about this too, is like getting the right equipment to do the job. So like now I have a steam press because the Kato bags have to have fusible interfacing. There's no way around it. And like using my iron like this just was no longer cutting it, obviously. This needs to have a little bit more TLC on its interfacing, so we're gonna pull it. Still have adhesive on the back there, so that's fine. Anyway, but having the right tools for the job also helps a lot too. So like now I do have a steam press and it makes it easier to work with the fusible interfacing. Easier. I'm not gonna say it's better necessarily, but easier. Rather than having to figure out how to actually get the, I don't know, the iron just does mess up fusible interfacing a lot more, I find, than like a steam press. Steam press, because you're using pressure and steam, things aren't going anywhere. So you put it under the steam press and that's where it's going to stay typically. I find it just basically between the steam and the press, it's just making sure that it stays, well, the weight. This is not as heavy as the weight of the clamshell of the steam press. There we go. I think that's where I was trying to get to. I don't actually know anymore right now. Okay, we are going to iron out a few crinkles on this one before we actually sew it. Because if we're already ironing it, we may as well make it better. There we go. Yeah, like just look at that. That's gonna look so good once it's finished. Obviously the light is making it look a little bit blue. It is fully black. This is the black one with the red mushrooms and the blue Alice, but the background is all black. So anyway, still learning about fusible interfacings, because it's like I did use sew-in interfacing for the longest time, but the problem with the sew-in interfacing that I've been using is that it has like quadrupled in price at my bulk pricing. So yeah, I can't. I'm switching. I've discussed this before as well, but like these rolls are a little bit smaller, but even square inch wise, it's like such a minimal price change compared to what I was paying that it's kind of a no-brainer. Unfortunately, because I did really like my sew-in interfacing, and then my occasional use of fusible interfacings. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe in a few years again, I'll switch back, because interfacing is so integral to the bag, but it is also the bane of my bag making existence. Well, that's not quite true, but I say that right now as I'm in the thick of the tedious part of it. But you know I'm going to complain and complain and complain about how Kato are basically 2 bags. That was the conclusion that I came to in Knit just before Knit City last year, because I'm like, these bags are awesome, but they take so long. Why do they take so long? And then I had the brainwave of like, they take so long because they're 2 bags, dummy. You're making 2 bags and smashing them together essentially. Because here's the thing, all my other bag constructions are basic. They're not a drop-in lining, because when I first started sewing, could not for the life of me get a drop-in lining to work and look nice. And like, they were not going to be production quality that I wanted to my name, so I didn't make them. And then, but when I did start making them, I was like, oh, I love it. And, well, I loved the product of it. The process, not so much. The best part of the Kato bags is choosing the fabric for them and putting them on the shelf. When they're done, that's what I mean. There's a good reason why a lot of my bags don't have pockets. Because even the simplest ones take so long, and then you have to be so precise with them compared, like, I'm pretty precise with my bags, but if you've been following for a while, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is slightly off, it's not a big deal. You can't do that with pockets. Pockets have to be so precise. Mostly like with their placement in the bag, so that you're not getting it caught in snaps or zippers or like rivets for handles and all of that jazz. Not very precise, I say, as I like trim down stuff. That's okay. It's better to trim that down than leave it on. Oh, this is not adhered at all. Alright, we're working from the front for this one to begin with. Alright, my pretty, you are very pretty, but your interfacing is not connected to you at all. Okay, so we're gonna start this way. I think the key to fusible is you're supposed to like leave your iron in one place for some time and actually not really drag it. Now I'm totally breaking all those principles right now, but it's working so far. I'm also going to kind of press up and out towards the edges so that if there's any wrinkles, they kind of like work themselves out away from it. There we go. That is better. Now we'll go on to the back. I knew if I pressed it from the back, it was going to be a wrinkled nightmare, so that's why we did that first. Now we're going to go in and just press our seam between the canvas and the exterior fabric down. I guess technically the canvas is also an exterior fabric, but the exterior Japanese fabric and canvas. It's so pretty. It's such a wild purple combo on this one. It's like got some magenta and stuff like that, so it's really cool looking. Alright, there we go. And do we need to do the same for you, or were you a layer up? I am bad. I do cheat with my interfacing and do multiple like bags under the steam press at the same time, mostly because I'm impatient. This does need to be adhered better. We're also going to try and get that canvas line out. Alright, well, at least with that one we were able to press down first. The problem being here is that it's already partially adhered and there are going to be wrinkles, so I'm just gonna we'll just work with it like it's new. Okay, so basically what we're working on right now, I see that there's a few more viewers in the room. We're working with Japanese fabrics to make project bags for knitters and crocheters, or you know, whatever you want to use them for. But the main gist is I go over to Japan and select my fabrics, and then I come back and I make all the bags in my studio. I'm just outside Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And if you're wondering why Japan, I was actually an exchange student there during university. I went to Kansai Gaidai, which is halfway between Osaka and Kyoto. Pretty much on a fluke, because I am an English major, was an English major. I have an English degree, so I was an English major. And so it's just, I always think of that because one of the questions that still sticks out to me to this day was the fact that when I did my exchange interview, they asked me, like, you've got 2 Japanese universities and then you got University of Edinburgh, and why is that? And I was like, well, because like my top choices are Japan, but I really just want to go on exchange, so Edinburgh would actually be useful for my degree. Lo and behold, I got my top choice, and there was not a lot of spots at that. I think there's 3 spots at the university that I attended from our university. So, and I knew that going into the interview, was that it was a very competitive school to get into for exchange, because it is an international school. Yeah, it's an international university. There we go. It's not an international school, but it is an international university. Oh man, that crochet pattern here pops so well with that black. It's not even funny. So good. Alright, I don't know how much top stitching we're going to end up getting done tonight. What time is it? 11:30. Oh jeez, okay. The beasties took a while to get down tonight, and then I actually did end up having a nap their room with them, because I was like, oh my goodness, I am not going to be able to get anything done if I don't get some sort of sleep before I go downstairs. So I have a feeling we might get through the ironing of the bags, and then top stitching we'll have to wait for tomorrow, because I need to, well, we're trying, got 10 days until we run a marathon after having run everything else over the last 3 days. So if that sounds extremely cryptic, that's because it is. My husband and I are going down to Disney World to do the Dopey challenge, which sounds exactly what it is. You got to be dopey to do it. It's 4 runs. It's a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon in 4 days. It's 48.6 miles. I don't even want to think of that number in kilometers, because under 50 miles is already terrifying enough. Okay, this needs some TLC too, because I could hear the loose glue literally. It was going crunch, crunch, crunch. There we go, that's better. So yeah, I still need to sleep at some point, especially with 2 littles. My youngest does have day home tomorrow, which is good because they are the mischief maker right now. Makes sense for the age that they're in. But I don't have long to prep for Airdrie Creekside Festival either, so it's like, and I have not packed. I've got I kind of have like, I pulled our suitcases out last week, but last week was just a disaster. So it didn't happen, and that's fine, but I do need to pack this week at some point. I think I'm going to call my in-laws up and be like, hey, can the kids come visit this weekend for a couple of hours? Just so I can get something done without having to worry about someone else's needs. So I think that's going to have to happen, because it's kind of like both of these things have to happen this week. Yeah. Mostly the packing. Although having stock for Airdrie is pretty key as well. I don't really have much to go with right now. I think I counted what I have listed on the website, and I think it's about 24 in-stock bags right now, and I'm like, that doesn't fly. So I think the focus is going to be these big bags in this new style, then small box bags, and then the Kato, because the Kato have been extremely popular for good reason. They are gorgeous bags. And then that other thing that we're doing, big bags, small box bags, and Kato. We don't have much, but there is more large box bags, and I think there's like 4 small box bags, and the small box bags will happen before the Kato, because there's more stock on the large box bags in the Kato than there are on the small box bags. And the big bags, I do have stock of the big bags, but I don't have any stock in the new style, and I kind of want to start launching the new style here 2024 instead of dragging it out. So that's why we're working on them right now. Plus they're a fast finish. I do also have needle stashes that I'll be finishing up for Airdrie as well. I got these plastic snaps in because I'm swapping from the metal sleeper snaps to plastic snaps. Because I tried some just Walmart brand the other day, and they set so much nicer. So I'm not going to use the Walmart brand in general for them. I invested in like cam snaps. I already have a cam snaps press for my rivets and like magnetic snaps and everything. So I just basically got a die for it, and we'll use actual cam snaps. If you don't know what cam snaps are basically industry leaders in plastic snaps. Seen or used cloth diapers, they're very likely the snaps you've used on, they are the snaps typically used on high quality cloth diapers. And I'm pretty sure like cloth pads and stuff like that are the same snaps as well. So Alright, that one needed some definite TLC, so those Alice bags are cotton linen blends, so their fabric's already a little bit heavier. And apparently the interfacing did not adhere very well at all. Alright. Could also have been that the fabric was wrinkled before I put it under the press or something like that too, so who knows? There's a lot of different factors. Seems like I'm gonna have to fill up the reservoir here again soon. Actually, I'll do that right now. Anyway, I am also trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to actually knit on the plane or like at all on vacation, because basically we're gonna go down and do the runs and then we'll go do the parks, which are always super busy days. But with the kids, it's like a different trip too. And my in-laws are gonna be down there as well, and like they've been before with us twice actually, and so they know the lay of the land and stuff like that. But it's also been their last trip with us was 2019, so 4 years makes a difference in like how fast any of us are moving. And with the kids, we're moving at a different pace too, so I think it's gonna like match up really well. But I think there's also gonna be some earlier nights than we usually are used. Like I think we'll shut down Magic Kingdom and like Epcot, but I don't think we're gonna go and do like Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios and stuff. I don't know yet. Our youngest adores Mickey Mouse, so maybe we will. I don't know. I don't think we've decided that. I think we actually chatted about what we were gonna do, but I don't think we made the official decision about it yet. I can't remember. Okay, so this one, it actually has a fold along the side here, so we're gonna pop the interfacing and try and press that, or iron that fold out. There we go. And get it adhered down to its interfacing. This is some of the last of this pink tuxedo cat with florals, but I do also have it available in yellow. If you are noticing that there's been some shifts in fabric in the pick your own, and you wanted something, it's very likely that I've taken it off because I already have it cut into stuff, or it's like a limited amount, so it's like I can't list it across multiple bags and it would be hard to just keep track of inventory on it. So if there's something that you saw previously and you're like, where did it go? Just send me a message, Instagram, or on the website. There's a little like chat box thing that pops up that'll get me right away, and I will answer as quickly as I can, obviously with the kiddos. But yeah, I shifted some stuff around because it was like stuff was mostly stuff that I knew I had used up, or was, and I'm like down to a bag. I'm thinking what I might actually end up doing is I might end up doing an Instagram story sale. Be like, here's the fabric, here's what we can make from it. Go, what do you want from it, basically? And then people can claim it that way. And then hopefully I don't have as much leftover fabric as I have in years past. Not that fabric, in the amount of time that I'm using it, is going to go bad. I more mean like, I don't know what I mean by that. Not leftover fabric I'm worried about, it's more just like lingering fabric. So stuff that wasn't necessarily as popular, or like dregs of stuff, and I'm just, mostly I want to use it as a motivator for me to use up the fabrics. I guess maybe that's the best description. Maybe I will do a story sale so that people can buy my stuff, custom order, and it'll motivate me to finish it. It'd still be pick your own, but it'd be via Instagram instead of like, and then still do the website. But basically the small amounts of fabric left would be advertised on Instagram. There we go. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, this one is not stuck down at all. Lovely. Okay, it is stuck down there. Sweet. So let's get this interfaced correctly, because these hedgies deserve to be correctly interfaced. This is a cotton linen blend, so it doesn't surprise me that it's not properly adhered. Uh-oh. And it's, Yeah, alright. So there's the end of the night, guys. I am being summoned. I am going to finish up just pressing this so that it's done. And yeah, you can hear them through the youngest's room as well. Alright, well, I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. And I will chat with you all. I hope that I can get on again tomorrow night. At least for the next few nights. And we'll get this stuff prepped for Airdrie. So thanks so much, and I'll chat with you.